Hey, Lirulin. Still here. Everyone else took off. Shouldn't you be headed home? It's, 3 in the morning?
Hey, Rowan. I don't know. I'm just reflecting, maybe? We're on, week 5 of exploring the library now? We've been doing this for quarter of a semester, and on one hand, I feel like we haven't found anything of use yet besides a few medical books. And on the other hand, I feel like I'm putting a lot of people in a lot of danger. You know, I was really excited to explore this place, and I kind of bet my whole credibility as the club leader on it, but now I'm not so sure.
Ani seems excited, though. Look how much danger she went through, and yet she still had us charging back in there demanding answers.
But look at where that got us. Now, all we know is that you can be turned into a library's peon, and then they'll unwrite you if you get some sense of identity. It's not exactly the most comforting set of revelations, and what are we even getting in return? We get to read fantastical stories about how this mystical place came to be, and secret murderers, or people who've lost their souls, or jailers and break-ins, and we haven't gained anything from this. We're just exploring a world that I'm barely even certain is real.
But it's still knowledge, right? We learn and we remember. We explore and we uncover. Isn't that what you originally wanted to do?
Well, yeah. But it feels like I'm stuck now. The events still haven't left me. It feels like a burning memory. I know it was just tonight, but you get what I mean.
Well, if it helps, I found something last night. A story, or perhaps a creation myth. It felt encoded almost, like a message hidden in the shelves. Regardless, it feels like maybe it would give you a few answers.
That doesn't exactly make me feel better.
Good. It's not meant to make us feel better necessarily. It's meant to give us context.
All right. Let's hear it.
In the Garden of Beginnings that existed over the first universe, there lived 4 gods, each representing a concept that bound reality together. 2 sets of twins made by Mother Creation. The elder twins were Zeos and Not, who is nameless of their own volition. Zeos represents all that is, for he is the omniverse given form. As a result, he does not interact often, for fear that by entering his own true body, he will collapse on himself. His knowledge is limitless, yet he is not very wise. On the other hand, his sister is the opposite. They do not know nearly as much as him, yet her wisdom knows no bounds. Among the 4, she is the voice of reason, or at the very least she attempts to be. The Not is all that is not, and they are the void that does not exist, yet at the same time does. A paradox. The younger twins are Memoria and Locus, youthful beings them, for they were found by the elder twins when the universe had just been coined by Mother Creation's hand. Memoria is time. He is the hand that spins the wheel, the thread into fabric, and the fabric into history. He is the composer of the clockworker's song. Locus was space itself, the physicality of Zeos' existence. The stars were her playground, her canvas, her everything. She loved her siblings dearly, and so she wrote them in the stars, in a language long forgotten. And in the Garden of Beginnings, over that first universe, they lived in peace. The garden itself wasn't what we as humans would call a garden. It was an abstract land, half-formed and constantly shifting in some areas. The plant life hardly seemed to be foliage at all, almost plastic or metallic in some respects. Yet they sprung in all colors and shapes, some far from what we are used to today. There was a soft sound of birds chirping and of leaves being swayed by a gentle breeze, but none of these things could actually be seen. In the center of the garden stood a massive fountain with the likeness of all four gods carved into it. They held chalices, pouring the fountain's water from them. Locust traced the details of her own depiction with a star-speckled hand. Such detail, carved from the hands of mortals, was something to be admired. Although capturing their exact appearance was near impossible, the mortals of their universe, of the terra and humanity that had existed then, managed to almost perfect it.
The mortals sleep.
A melodic, gentle voice, hardly above a whisper. It was a rare sound. He was usually the quiet of the four, and when he did speak, it was typically to change the course of history. To hear him speak so casually was unheard of. He lifted his head, if one could describe it as such, to look at the carvings. His face was obscured by a veil, and his body language betrayed no emotion.
How are you?
I'm well. I've missed you.
Locust had to glance up to see her brother's face, as he was somewhat taller than her. Despite her importance, she always seemed a bit younger than her siblings. She smiled, as we would call it. A hand reached out to grab onto Memoria's arm. To her dismay, he uncharacteristically pulled away. Her brow furrowed slightly, but she brushed it off.
Sorry.
The apology would sound empty to most, though Memoria never said that unless he meant it. In truth, he was gone for much longer than he should have been. A mortal man had caught his attention in a way that he did not fully comprehend yet. There was no word for it that he knew of.
Things are well there. They advance slowly, but...
Slowly, but we have eternity. It's not like we're thinking of making changes soon.
The painter of the stars was like a little songbird, the way her voice sounded like chirping. In stark contrast to her cheeriness, however, Memoria remained unfazed. The painter of time turned back to the fountain, lowering his head as if to gaze upon its reflection. The silence, for Locust, was response enough.
Brother? You're not planning to end things, are you? That would be wrong.
Locust leaned to the side against the metallic tree, starry pigtails swaying in an invisible breeze. She never understood Memoria's ways. He seldom worked in anyone's favor, even his own. One had to wonder if he was working towards some goal that the other three were unaware of, or if he was truly unbiased as to how he wove events.
Endings do not exist, only beginnings. I fear that there will be a change, however big, however small. The song has not yet revealed.
Locust fell silent at that. Memoria always spoke of the song as if it dictated time, not him. A tiny frustration sparked in the back of her mind. What if she didn't want it to change? What if he didn't want it to change? Why did he act like there were things out of their control when they made everything up? But of course, she didn't say that out loud, lying with a nod. For what seemed to be an eternity, though to them a mere blink, Memoria did not speak. Perhaps he had nothing to say. He seldom did, after all. But then the fragile silence was shattered once more. It was shattered as he turned away, speaking his final piece.
I will leave, and you won't see me again. I will leave, and when we meet again, I will have changed.
Wait, what? Memoria?
Locust turned to face him as he began to walk away, though it quickly fell into a dead sprint, kicking up stardust as she chased him. Even if he was walking at a steady pace, Locust couldn't seem to keep up with him, the garden fading into the darkness and her brother fading with it.
Memoria!
Do not change the flow of time. The wheel will spin as it wills. We must accept it. Time drags along. We must push on.
The voice came from everywhere and nowhere. However, As the garden returned to its usual state, seemingly to suddenly speed up around her, it silenced. Only for a mere second. Like a great tremor, she felt it. Like a crushing presence, he suddenly loomed. Zias was not a god to be disturbed. Grabbing his attention so quickly and violently was anything but good.
What happened? Lucas?
His tone shifted to worry upon seeing her. Eyes that blazed like 1,000 suns softened to moonlight. Starry hands reached out towards his sister. The two were most alike in appearance compared to all of their siblings. Too violent, too fast, the world grew and shrank and tore and shifted all at once. Locust screamed, crashing onto the floor and digging her fingers into the void. They felt as if they were coming undone, her body unwrapping like fragile paper.
Memoria, he did something. I couldn't stop him.
Where is he?
Zios seemed to grow, his presence becoming more and more crushing. None felt it more than the nameless void, who desperately reached out. They could feel everything growing, pushing them away. They couldn't, however, feel Memoria.
Dad, I think. He's gone!
Damn it all! What is he thinking?
The Garden of Beginnings was far from the only fixture in their domain of the 4 gods. There were areas that they kept in themselves, where they could manage their respective spheres. The garden happened to be at the center of the realm. To the east was the clock tower. It loomed over the garden like an ever-watchful eye. In that tower at the top was where Memoria dedicated the flow of time by spinning the wheel. Zios, however, knew of another key factor of time that was in that tower. While Memoria represented the wheel, the turning of time, and the way it moved forward, there was another piece, prophecy. Embodying that was another, though it was not a god. It was a song, one that rang in Memoria's ears alone. Zios, however, felt it was possible for the others, especially himself, to hear it, assuming they went to the clock tower, which Memoria forbade them from.
I'm going there. I am going there, and I am going to find out what he saw.
While Zios may have felt fine, empowered even, his siblings were clearly struggling. The consistent link between him and his siblings, the string of reality that tied them together, seemed to fray, weaken, until only a small, worn thread remained. They had no time to warn him of this before they felt themselves grow smaller, their power dimmed to an ember they desperately grasped with their misty hands and shielded from the world. The knot's consciousness blurred as all their energy went into struggling to exist. And Locus, poor Locus, fared no better. The starry glimmering that adorned her form fizzling away from her, slipping between her desperately grabbing, hastily unraveling fingers. The world grew, and her power with it, spreading out past anything she could reasonably give. It burnt like fire, and she had no choice but to futile stop it, her pained cries drowning in space dust. Horrified at what he was witnessing, the god of all that is pushed forward, sprinting up the stairs of the clock tower. He felt his entire being crumbling, everything that existed suddenly halting, folding in on itself, then suddenly bursting outward. It was painful. However, he knew he had to push on. In addition to this newborn chaos, he felt a presence, similar to his own, but diluted, weaker. No mortal. No, not by any stretch of the imagination. Finally, he reached the top of the clock tower. He could feel his sister struggling, clinging on to their lives. He had to push on, however. If existence didn't survive, not even nothing could be saved. He pushed open the door that led to the wheel's chamber. Inside, it was spinning wildly, infinite threads spurring out of it. It spun on its own, producing infinite futures and pasts. He grabbed onto the wheel itself, forcing it to stop. It struggled against his hand. Zios squeezed, trying to keep his grip on it, but it only seemed to act against him. His grip kept tightening. Suddenly, until the wheel stopped. His arms were trembling, and slowly he let go. He looked outside. He couldn't see his siblings from here. The great clock sounded, a bell chiming loudly to signify that the wheel had stopped. Zeos found himself panting. He had to get to the first universe.
Locus! Locus, can you hear me?
Faintly. What do you need me to do? I have strength for one more thing, I believe, but it will most likely be my last act.
I managed to freeze time. The wheel, it just started spitting out more threads than what should be possible. We need to get to the first universe. Quickly. We need to save what mortals we can and take care of this madness.
Is there a way to turn back? No, don't try.
I am not the god of time. Affecting it any further would be unwise. I will meet you. We need to go. Now.
Understood.
It took more effort, more concentration, to bring what little was left of her to the world of the mortals. But she did, concentrating for what felt like ages. It was frozen in time, though that wasn't speaking for much, considering it was empty. They stood on what looked to be some deep, black lake, showing their reflections. It was different from the knot. He had no idea how to describe it, but it was different. Ahead of them was a tree. It was a massive tree, miles high, its branches extending even farther overhead. Its roots presumably plunged into the deep water beneath the tree. Zeos looked up. The leaves of the tree were like stars twinkling softly. They had nothing to illuminate the area around them, but the gods could still see. At the base of the tree was a body, unmoving. As Zeos approached, he recognized it. His non-existent breath hitched as he stared down at the body of his brother. He was still veiled, leaving his face obscured even in death, but he knew.
Memoria?
Wait.
He looked up. Something else was there, watching them. He extended an arm out, pulling his sister back behind him. A massive blue eye, like Larimar, glowed, unblinking. A low hiss could be heard throughout the void. Even without a heart, Zeos felt a pounding in his chest. The eye lifted, its glowing light reflected on the scales that would otherwise be black with golden patterns, like those of an anaconda, running around its body. The being was massive. Zeos could make out a vague outline of its body. Following it, he realized that the being was wrapped around the gargantuan tree several times over. Each branch had part of the serpentine creature draped slightly from it. If there was an end to it, Zeos couldn't see it.
We're not alone.
The sight startled Locus, forcing her half-formed body to move. With a silent gasp, she slid to the side, electing to hide behind Zeos. She never visited the mortal realm, and thus never met anyone outside of the celestial family.
Will it hurt us?
The serpent slithered forward, lowering her massive head before the two. A third eye was situated at the center of her forehead, staring at them.
No, I will not.
What happened here?
A union. One that should have never occurred. It birthed a creature that threw the balance of this fragile universe into shambles, destroying it. Memoria had come to witness the creature's birth, but the destruction of this place, it created more like it. He became overwhelmed, unable to withstand it. His physical form gave out.
Just his physical form? He does not need that, surely. So, is he all right?
In his death, he panicked, forcing the creation of another like the one he made in the Union. He intended to use it as a new host. However, he made a drastic mistake by giving me a will, a spirit of my own. I am the Ouroboros. I am Presence. I can see all that is, was, and will be. The god of time's spirit sleeps in me.
Are you his replacement for the time being, then?
I suppose. I cannot reach the realm beyond reality, however. I cannot reach the wheel.
Then how?
That is for you to dictate. You are the god of all. You can do as you please. Bring the wheel here if you must. Surely it can be moved.
What will we do, brother? I suppose it is up to you. I'll fade soon, anyhow.
No, you will not. You may fall dormant, but you will not die. I can see all that will be. I see something for you. Your time is not up, not yet.
What of Memoria? What can you tell us?
He won't take kindly to not being in control when his spirit awakens. He will see a new host, leaving me, but he will remember nothing of who he is. The danger in that is unspeakable.
Will there be someone there to guide him?
She did not answer this time, whether out of simply not wishing to answer, having no answer, or if that answer was something that Locust did not want to hear was unknown. Instead, she turned back, returning to the tree.
This is Yggdrasil. I will be here with it for as long as I exist. It holds doors to the newborn worlds, which are being built by fledgling gods that were once mortals as we speak.
I take their silence as a no, Locust.
Nothing will ever be well again, will it?
I wouldn't say that. Presence, what of... is... You know what I speak of, yes?
I do. The wheel is all right. It will continue turning as normal, and I will listen to it until the time comes.
And this place?
A shame to let it go to waste, isn't it? I suppose I can turn this into something. Gateways to all worlds. I can see them, the survivors. There is hope.
Zias reached out. He felt some souls, no more than 100. Some were distant. Others felt as though they stood right next to him.
I feel them. They're scattered. I can sense their confusion. We should...
There's more. Something's awoken.
Something dangerous? What's awoken? What are you saying?
Dangerous, perhaps. I'm not sure. They're distant, but I can feel them. Gaps in reality. 2 of them wanting to tear it apart.
What? Already there's a threat to existence? Would Memoria's actions not count as such a thing?
I know what he speaks of.
He turned away for a moment. He could still feel the serpent's gaze. He could recall Iselin. He could feel the knot trying to hold back. It was a horrid feeling. It made him shudder.
Will you live?
Will you live, is the question. I will be fine. Now, though, we should check in on the fledgling universes.
I believe I'm dying, even now.
No, we need to push forward. Presence?
I know not what you expect of me. She is not dying, though. Dormancy, as I said. She will be fine. Her being, at least.
Perhaps I don't want to go dormant either. I Why should I have to suffer for my brother's mistake?
Lucas, we have no choice here. I doubt Memoria knew what would happen.
He did. At least he knew the risks. This was an abuse of power, and now we all bear its weight. Such is what happens with those affected by tyranny. But he is dead now, and we are the ones who must pick up after him, for the sake of the newborn multiverse.
Well, I cannot exactly do that if I'm dormant, can I?
You aren't dormant yet. Now are you?
As if it won't happen the moment time restarts.
Lucas covered her mouth with her hand. Her gaze fell downcast. This serpent clearly cared not for her own plight. Such must be the ways of the new multiverse. In this horrible land Memoria had created, no one would have time to be selfless or kind.
Lucas, we need to go. Come on, surely we can find something.
Understood, brother.
The serpent retreated, coiling back around the tree. She rested her head near its roots. Zias watched her for a moment, then looked up at Yggdrasil, remembering what she had said.
She said that Yggdrasil holds doors to the new universes.
He followed the serpent, Locust nervously trailing behind him, and approached the tree. As of now, there was only one way. It was like a doorway, framed in woven branches. The other side couldn't be viewed. Locust looked up. Yggdrasil was beautiful, she had to admit. She just wished she would actually be able to observe it grow. Who knew how long she would be dormant for? She got lost in admiring its beauty before reverting her attention back to her brother, just in time to see him disappear into the other side of the way.
What? Zias, please don't leave me here!
He hadn't even looked at her before stepping through. Locust approached the way, but stopped herself. What if the other side was somehow dangerous? What if there were other beings that tried to harm her? After all, in her weakened state, that was quite a possibility.
Well, that wasn't what I expected. I don't know what to expect anymore. I don't know whether I should feel comfortable or terrified.
Why not both?
What are you trying to tell me with all this? Are you claiming this is where our universe comes from?
No, not exactly. I don't think the one story can explain where we all came from or how it all began. They're metaphors, an attempt to understand and explain. Maybe our universe didn't come from siblings, but maybe that's how someone once understood it, and how they wanted to tell us.
Do you think Ani would understand this? After what she went through, do you think it's good for her?
Maybe. Or maybe that was meant for you and I to understand first. Maybe the library already knew that.
You sound like Von Late.
Your weird chem professor. Don't say that. I don't wear enough scarves to pull that off.
Yeah. Thank you, Rowan.
Anytime.
And as we close, I would like to give a special shout out to those in real life who made today's episode possible. In particular, I'd like to thank my many voice actors, including Peach, who played the role of Rowan, Esme, who played the role of Zias, Abipsha, who played the role of Memoria, Serena, who played the role of Locus, Emily, who played the role of Praisins, John, who played the role of Azatrimatoth, and Echo, who played the role of Asus, though I'm recording this a little bit early, and I'm not entirely sure which pronunciation of that name we actually used, so forgive if I got it wrong. As well, I would like to thank the musical artist who produced all of the music you could hear in this episode. His name is Kevin MacLeod, and you can find his music and more at incomptech.com, or just Google Kevin MacLeod. Finally, I would like to thank the author of the story that we read today. The story was Come Forth from the Garden of Beginnings by Ambroge Arietz and Digital Princess 234, both on the Wanderer's Library wiki. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.